So when I say hacking, all right, so most of the time one thing pops up in my mind, that this quote. So it says that this quote is said by Bruce Schneier. He's a well-known security professional. He's been in this field from last 40 plus years, I guess. He's quite old. Once he said that the amateurs or newbies hack systems like computers, laptops, smartphones, but professionals hack people, right? So there's a lot more wisdom in this. I try my level best to make you understand why professionals usually hack people. So most of my slides is based on this specific quote, right? So we'll figure it out how this is most valuable quote so far. So when I say hack or hacking or a hacker, do not assume instantaneously that I am some kind of criminal, or I know only about hacking Facebook or WhatsApp or any kind of other social media platforms like Instagram or Twitter. So most of the time when I go to my hometown, I'm not from Maharashtra. I've been living in Maharashtra from last 8 years. But when I go to my hometown and when I meet my probable childhood friends or any long distance relative, so they usually ask me what kind of work you do. So I do not say them that I'm a penetration tester. The reason behind this is I have to explain them what is penetration testing, and they get confused most of the time. So I just say them that I hack for a living. So the most of the time when they understand what is hacking, because most people do nowadays, what is hacking. So the moment they hear me out that I'm a hacker, the next question is always, can you hack my Facebook, or can you hack XYZ person's Facebook, or can you steal WhatsApp chat messages or text messages, something like that. So hacking is not all about hacking into Facebook and social media platforms. Hacking is much more bigger than that. So it's really hard to put what is hacking in words. So if I have to just put it in a picture, then this would be that. So earlier hackers, like back in 1990s, most hackers used to hack governments, big corporations, organizations, not just to steal information or not to make profit out of it, because in that particular era, hacking was quite new to everyone. There was specifically no any decent security at all. So in those kind of years, hackers used to hack government and try to find out what the bad activities government is doing, and they try to reveal those information to general public. But nowadays, hacking has, specifically the media, has changed the term hacking. Whenever you see any kind of hacking related news online, so they always point that hacking is a crime, or hacking, someone hacked this, someone hacked that. So hacking is not just a criminal activity, one of many areas under hacking, but some people take advantage of hacking to hurt someone or to steal, which is not supposed to steal them. And some hackers are there who try to protect that information by analyzing other hackers' methodologies, their tactics, techniques, procedures, and many more other things. So this is what hacking specifically means in simple terms. So for me, it's really hard to explain in words what is hacking altogether. But I'll try my level best in the next 1.5 hours to try to explain you what is hacking and how how you can able to protect yourself from most powerful hacking from a normal user point of view, not from an organization, not from a company, not from a government agency, just from a user's point of view. So you use internet every day. I don't need to ask you the question whether you use internet or not, because everyone use internet these days. So when Karan mailed me that we want to organize a webinar like this, so I was a little bit confused, not because he asked me out of the blue, but I was just wondering what are the things I can able to explain to everyday user, which they can understand cybersecurity and they can understand the consequences of breaking the law, or the gravity of this present situation which we are facing right now. When we use internet a lot, we always face a lot of threats, a lot of privacy issues, surveillance, a lot more things on internet which I shouldn't encourage you to do. But let's see what I have prepared. I have prepared some specific areas or topics which might interest you to understand, which might interest you to follow them, and that might guide you to help you protect your own information. So I was wondering what kind of things I should talk about in this 2-hour or 1.5-hour session. So I would like to start with passwords. Right? I know this is very common term. Everyone knows what is password, right? So we every day we use passwords everywhere. Like if you want to access Facebook, you need a password. If you want to access e-commerce website to buy something, then you need a password. If you want to do a transaction like financial transactions through internet banking, you need passwords. All right, so passwords are everywhere. The more sites we use, the more passwords we need to remember, the more passwords we have to create. So this particular thing can passwords for recommended at all. So that's the reason I wanted to start this talk with one specific topic: passwords. How your password should look like, or what's the characters it should contain. We talk about much bigger thing than just basic passwords. So we'll talk about how I, being a cybersecurity professional, how I take care about my passwords, all right, and how you can easily replicate the same strategy or technique into your own cyber life to protect your passwords, all right. So to make it interesting, I have put some polls, I have put some videos on GoToWebinar on this platform, so where you can interact. So let's start with this first poll, which is quite interesting. Okay, so what this it will get popped on your screen, so you have to answer the question. You have to just need to select. It's just like it's multiple. It's one question and multiple answers. You have to select one relatable answer, or which you think that might be the right one, right? So my very first question for you is this. Can you share your passwords with me? Right? It's I know it's quite weird question though. It's very weird. No one should ask you your passwords unless it's your mother or father or your girlfriend or boyfriend, something like that. But still, being just to make it interesting, can you share my passwords? So the poll says, I believe you have already answered. So 93% of attendees say that no, they are not going to share their own passwords with me. That's the right answer, no doubt. And 9% people said that yes, I'm not sure what they are thinking. So I'm not going to say it's bad, but you shouldn't practice sharing passwords with anyone. All right, that's okay. It's a common sense. Everybody knows about this. Everybody follows this, unless if you are in a peer pressure. So we share passwords. Most of the time it happens. So the thing with password is when you have a lengthy password or a complex password, like let's say I have one specific case which happened recently in July 11th last month. So there's this one lady from internet. She's from United States. On Twitter, she mentioned a specific thing which caught my mind. So she worked for their Congress. They have a political what we can say team or something like that. So they call them Congress, and they works for them. So she had an account for that Congress party, and that account password was 64 characters, randomly generated and completely unique. So somehow hackers, cyber criminals, got hold of that 64-digit passwords. I'm not sure how they did it, right? So there might be many ways which we can do, which hackers do most of the time. We can replicate that and we can able to understand. But before we jump to that part, how this happened, how it is possible to get hold of a 64-digit passwords, let me put another poll on your screen. So this might help you to understand, for me to understand about little bit about the attendees, okay? So the next question for you is, what's the password length? Your password, average password length of any account. I'm not being specific here, like Facebook or WhatsApp or any kind of accounts I'm talking about. Anything it might be. So if you have an account, obviously you have a password. So I would like to know what might be the length of that password, right? So I will show you. Obviously, you don't want to share your passwords with me, but I'll show you my password in a couple of slides later. No doubt in that. So so far, 65% people attendees say that 66% attendees say that they use passwords in between 10 to 14 characters. Right, in between 10 to 14, 22% people say that they use passwords in between 6 to 8 characters. All right, so that's a good thing. 65% people who are using passwords in between 10 to 14. Obviously, you are quite more secure than the other individuals or attendees. But still, if a 64 character password can be stolen from an individual, then 10 to 14 characters are nothing comparing to 64 characters. So the thing with these passwords, it doesn't really matters how complex your password is. It might be one factor of many, but there are many more other things other than passwords. That's why I took this specific topic to talk about. So let's close this poll, and if you want to know the results, I'll just share it on your screen. So as you can see, 65% people said they use 10 to 14 characters. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, no doubt. Let me switch to another question for you. All right. It's on your screen now. So do you use special characters in your passwords? Any kind of special characters? I have mentioned a couple of them, like hash, $sign. I think I used hash double times. It should be @ my bad. So probably that's fault from my side. That's okay. And 78% people, 76% people are saying that they use different special characters in their passwords. That's okay. That's amazing. And 11% people say that they don't use any kind of special characters, which is very bad. You should be using special characters. We'll look into that in a couple more minutes, why a special character is very important. Like we see the evidence rather than I saying to you, it's a good thing to have a special character. I would allow you to evidence I'll allow you to see why it is more important to have special characters in any kind of passwords. All right, let me close this poll. So coming back to our slides, it says Brianna says that her 64-character password is stolen by a cyber crook or a cyber criminal. And we'll look into that, how it has happened, how it is possible to steal passwords. We'll look into that, no doubt. Completely educational purpose. You don't need to steal anyone's password, but you should know how anyone might able to steal your passwords, right? So let me put another one last poll rather than this one. Sorry, I just shared that one. Yes, this one is my quite favorite. So the question is, do you use numbers like birth date or the year of your birth, phone numbers in your passwords? Do you use anything like that? Any kind of numbers? It's not specific to only date and phone numbers, even random numbers too. So I have seen so many people using dates that might be their birth date or their lucky number or their phone number, last 3 digits or 4 digits, something like that. So most of the time people use them to remember the passwords, to remember the lengthy or complex passwords. All right, so it's I would not say whether it's bad or good. You decide once you figure out the next practical how this works, how it's bad to not have numbers or any kind of phone numbers in your passwords. So let me close this poll, share the result with you. So 63% people say that yes, they do use some kind of numbers in the passwords, and 37% attendees say that no, they do not use any kind of numbers in their passwords. All right. So we'll look into this in a couple of seconds, how all this is related to my next slide. All right. So we'll come back to this particular case that is 64 digit in a couple of minutes. So that's what poll was 2, 3, and 4. So now I got a little bit information about you. So this is a kind of hacking. What I just did, collecting information about an individual, single person or a group of people. So the more I understand about users, the more I can easily break or steal the passwords. We call this type of information, what I did, collected information about you, it's called as a metadata collection.